Lil B and his music. What you rap? I rap the task force. Yeah. Base God. Base God. Never been reporting out. Listen, I've been dreading doing this video for a minute because the Lil B conversation is huge. Huge. So, oh my God, where do I start with Lil B? Task Force, represent. I'm a proud member of Task Force, always will be, right? Bitch Mob Task Force, Platoon 6. Okay, Lil B is an interesting cat. I think that, as I've said before, I think he's one of the greatest rappers of the last 10 years, easy. Lil B changed the rap game. I mean, we already know this, honestly. Like, if you just listen to the songs that Lil B was coming out with and you see how rap progressed, you can see that Lil B's influence on rap is huge. And then a good influence. I'm not talking about watering down the game and making the game shit. That would be Lil Wayne. You know what I'm saying? Lil Wayne's influence on rap is to make, to water down rap. You know, after Lil Wayne, you just got garbage ass rappers, really. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not influence. That's just, Xerox, watered down shit. You know what I'm saying? Real influence to me is leaving an effect on the game, bringing an attitude, an idea into hip hop that maybe wasn't there or hasn't been there in a while. And people, it's like a tool and it makes the rap game better. The rap game improved after Lil B came on the scene. Let's be real. Drake obviously took some things from Lil B and became a better rapper. You know what I'm saying? A$AP Rocky took a lot from Lil B's blueprint, in my opinion, and really became a dope rapper, right? So that's what I mean by influence, right? You start to even get guys like Lil Uzi Vert and things like that who, I'm not like a huge fan of like that, but they did have, one or two decent songs. It allowed the younger generation to feel free and express themselves. That is what I mean by real influence, not like, oh, did niggas Xerox you after? Who cares if you got Xeroxed? I mean, that's for casuals and shit. Back to Lil B. I think the thing with Lil B and why he got so polarizing was this guy, at the end of the day, to me was an internet comedian, really at his core. He wasn't so much a rapper as like a troll, right? And, comedy is subjective. So I found him hilarious, but I know some people who didn't care for him and probably will never care for him, and that's fine. Comedy is like that. Now, when Lil B first came on the scene, I gotta be honest with you, I thought this dude was horrible. I remember hearing Wonton Super, seeing the video, and I was just like, oh my God, man, rap is dead. Like, this is the worst shit I've ever heard in my fucking life. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then somehow or the other, and I think I tried to listen to a bunch of other songs too that I just thought were like the worst thing ever. But what made the difference for me was seeing and, listening to Pretty Bitch. He's like, Nicki Minaj, I'm gonna find this bitch out, you feel me? When I heard Pretty Bitch, I figured it out. That's why I was like, this nigga's trolling. I get it. He's trolling. He's out here trying to get a reaction, right? Oh man, this beat's crazy. And this is before people were really trolling like that, okay? Lil B is kind of the father of this trolling shit, let's be real. So anyways, I got it and I was like, oh, this nigga is trolling. He's doing the Prince thing with the ass out and all that stuff and sort of trying to be a little bit raw and different. I fuck with that. I like people to do different shit. You know what I'm saying? Because hip hop to me, like all art, you have to be creative and original. And original doesn't mean that you're creating shit out of thin air. That's not what I mean by original. Original means you are taking ideas, you're looking at what's dope and you're making it your own. And you're not just sort of dick riding your influence. It's like, okay, these are the influences and this is how I can make it unique to me, right? While making something that people give a fuck about. That's original to me, right? So anyway, I loved it. And I think that after I saw Pretty Bitch, I was like, okay, I get it. This nigga's trolling. And then I think I'm trying to remember what else I saw. Obviously, Breathe Slow. Some of those songs that were just fucking hilarious to me. Like, completely different. They were so off the fucking wall. I mean, you have to understand, for me, listening to rap in the late 2000s, everything became so cookie cutter and robotic, right? So I was looking for something new and fresh. And Lil B was absolutely 1000% fresh. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't afraid to talk about eating ass. Now everybody's like, oh, eat the, ass like groceries or whatever. Lil B to me was the first nigga to even talk about that shit. Lil B would just throw in shit that people weren't even talking about. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I respect that about, a great artist, because that's what artists do. Like, they aren't afraid to really speak their mind. They don't give a fuck about the ridicule. Like, if you want to ridicule them, fine. But, like, eventually you're going to learn that what they did was ill. So, I'm going to take a look at my notes here, because there's a lot I can say about Lil B, man. Like, he's released more than 1,000 songs, I'm sure, at this point. 900 of them are probably straight garbage. I don't know, maybe 800 of them are straight garbage, and like 200 of them are like, between decent to like super ill and super interesting or whatever, right? So the first thing I would say, aside from the trolling and things like that I noticed about Lil B right off the bat, was his production choices. I think his beats were extremely interesting. Like, I would hear his beats and just be like, who the fuck is doing beats like this? This is such a unique sound, right? Like, I just played Pretty Boy Muzik. That beat is insane. This beat is fucking insane. Real shit from a real nigga? This beat is insane to this fucking day. You know what I'm saying? Like, this beat is so insane, I ended up having to, like, use it for a short film I did. I love this fucking beat. This would be one of my favorite beats ever. You know what I mean? Look at that shit. Beautiful. Beautiful shit. Clams Casino. Crazy beat. And this is the thing. Lil B discovered, quote unquote, I wouldn't say like 100% discovered, but he brought Clams Casino into the game, who to me is like the best thing that cloud rap has to offer, right? And Lil B kind of invented cloud rap. Now, you might think that this was just some internet shit, but it had far-reaching fucking consequences, man. I remember there was some show that people were, filming out in New York. Was it Money and Violence or something like that? Some hood-ass show. And I remember hearing real shit from a real nigga in the background. Like, street niggas was listening to this shit. Don't get it fucking twisted. You know what I'm saying? Like, we can talk about who and was listening to what, but motherfuckers who really know rap, you know what I'm saying? Like, hood niggas, whether it be guys who like rap or even ladies. I know some girls who, like, listen to rap. They were listening to fucking Lil B, because Lil B had some shit. You know what I'm saying? Now, I can't tell you that Lil B's songs were polished necessarily, or they were the best put together. But they did have that thing that you need in music, and that's, soul, feeling. People don't understand that, like, technique and all that is cool, but at the end of the day, if there's no feeling, it's dead in the fucking water. And what makes music is the vibe, it's the feeling, it's the soul behind it, right? And Lil B had so much fucking soul. For like a good 3-4 years in this run, his stuff just came from a really strong, soulful place. Way more than, I would say, 99% of rappers at that time. And that's what made Lil B powerful. You know what I mean? You hear beats like this shit, like, and you're just like, and it was different. You know what I mean? It just gave you this euphoric, beautiful vibes. I mean, some of the songs that Lil B was rapping on, and I'll list them all, in the description, because there's just too many for me to cover. But I'm talking like some beautiful fucking tear-inducing beats, man. Like some real, like, extraordinary shit. So that's what made me get into Lil B. And honestly, when I started hearing those songs and stuff like that, I was like, nobody in the rap game is even remotely touching this nigga. You know what I'm saying? And then, of course, I would say that A$AP Rocky, when he started to come up and he used Clams Casino, and to me perfected what Lil B was trying to do with that Clams Casino sound. A$AP Rocky kind of perfected it. And that's when I started going back and being like, damn, like, Lil B was on this wave, like, before Rocky even, So the rise of Rocky actually made me, respect Lil B even more. But I think that Lil B, to a certain degree, I wish he didn't troll as much on some of those beats, because some of those beats were too beautiful to just sort of troll on. You know what I'm saying? And he has a lot of beats that were fucking gorgeous, and he just trolled his way through them. They're funny, they're interesting, but, over time, I'm not listening to Lil B as much as I really would like to, because you have to be in a certain mood in a way, and you have to be open to being trolled almost, in a sense, to really listen to Lil B's music like that, because the songs themselves weren't necessarily put together the best, right? And that's unfortunate, because some of these beats were just insane, man. Insane. Realist Alive, insane. Like, this beat is fucking, who was doing this? Nobody. the last thing I want to really kind of get into, and I've kind of touched on, is just the realness factor of Lil B, man. Like, the comedy plus the sort of the insight, and it's not, again, he wasn't necessarily the deepest nigga ever, you know what I'm saying? Like, but he did, you know, he was a lyricist in my opinion, because he said goofy shit, you paid attention to him. Now, it's not necessarily things that you would say, quote unquote, like, it's not Coogee rap pen like that, but, you know, he was a lyricist. He would say things that made you laugh. You know, that 1,000 Bitches song always comes to mind, of how ridiculous that shit is. Bizarre Model, you know, that shit was great, man. I mean, Bizarre Model, perfect example of what I fuck with Lil B. Bizarre Model introduced me to that song by Prince in Vanity 6 called Makeup, which is a phenomenal song, and to me is one of the best Prince songs ever made, right? I would have never heard that song if it wasn't for Lil B. Facts. Like, I mean, that shit is so obscure and random that a dude rapping on that shit backwards, that's what I'm talking about, man. Lil B was on a different tip. A lot of these rappers are so busy copying other people, you know what I'm saying? Because they want to be accepted, or they want to make some money, right? They don't really love the art form like that. Like, a real artist is like, not that they don't care, but they don't care as much about, you know, mainstream acceptance and things like that. And they want to express themselves and show people unique shit, you know what I'm saying? Or things that you've forgotten about, but you should remember. And I respect that about Lil B, man. 1,000 Bitches. This shit was, oh, I feel like 1,000 bitches. And the thing with Lil B to me is that also it was like, a lot of the stuff that Lil B was saying, the dumb songs especially, to me, it was very hip-hop as of the day. It was really, in a funny way, a parody of what the rap game was saying. You know, the rap game was saying, hey, listen, man, I could fuck 1,000 bitches. I mean, you know, what's his name? Lil Wayne had a song, something like, I wish I could fuck every girl in the world. Dumb shit, right? Now, I mean, the sentiment as a male is interesting. I mean, to a certain degree, I get it, but at the same time, it's a little silly. And Lil B was just like, well, the rap game is silly. I'm just going to take the silliness to a whole nother level, because it's kind of showing how dumb the rap game is anyway. Like, the ad-libs, all that shit, that was what rap was doing. It was, you know, all ad-lib dumb shit to a certain degree. Like Lil Jeezy. Young Jeezy was the ad-lib guy, you know what I'm saying? And Lil B just kind of took it to a logical conclusion. I mean, he's kind of like Playboy Cardi in that sense, where he was like, oh, y'all want mumble? I'm gonna show you some real mumble shit. You know what I mean? Lil B was like, oh, y'all on that ad-lib shit? I'm gonna ad-lib the fuck out of these songs and show you what, like, ad-lib is, you know, really put the ad-lib, you know, sauce into things. So I respect that about Lil B. I always thought his shit was innovative like that, you know? The other thing, obviously, with hip-hop is that at some point people figured out, particularly Lil Wayne and Diplomats and some of these garbage-ass rappers, they figured out that, hey, if I just flood the game with weak-ass material, people are going to crown me as being a great rapper, even if all the material is weak or most of it, right? If I throw shit at a wall, basically, people will listen to me. And Lil B took that to a whole nother level. This nigga was like fucking, it felt like he was recording a song or, you know, like 10 songs a day type shit, you know what I'm saying? Because that's what rap is now. Rap is about disposable. You know, you just throw shit out all the time. You're just constantly recording, right? And so Lil B kind of, you know, was making fun of that in his own little interesting way. So I fuck with Lil B, man. And lastly, I would say, you know, in terms of songs that came together, this is one of them, man. I mean, this shit, February's Confessions, this shit is hard, man. I mean, I can still listen to this joint. You know what I mean? This shit is real. Like, a lot of people can't make a song like this. Real talk. Like, of the new generation, nah. I didn't act it last year. No dollars, bruh. Oh, man. Money, bars in us. Oh. And I was leaving on the charter bus. What's this? Well, niggas are so foul. But we don't manage shit. This is my joint. And then I got stabbed in my back, man. Up. That shit's real. Yo, he had some joints on here, man. God's Father. The last time I fell asleep, I get the game wide open. Oh man. Yo, the other thing I want to say that honestly, giving props to Lil B, right? Lil B did something that I thought was extremely fascinating. Obviously, we talk about shoegaze and cloud rap, but the nigga pretty much invented that shit, man. Like, I'm gonna play Open Thunder because Open Thunder, I remember when that came out. Let's not even talk about I'm God because I'm God was crazy. But, and that was shoegaze too, because again, people weren't really sampling shoegaze like that. To be fair, you know who actually, very initially, I would say, had that shoegaze shit? Is Fuji's Ready or Not. Ready or Not. That's kind of in a, shoegazy type of vibe to a certain degree. And then it was like nobody really picked up that, that vibe. But it's interesting. It would just kind of, it was like one of those things that would, every now and then you would hear it. I don't wanna know that shit. They'd use the and yeah shit, right? So it's kind of interesting. And I think Lil B to me was kind of like that sound times 5. You know what I'm saying? Like he just kind of kept the shoegaze thing really sort of hitting. And of course it became a whole subgenre of rap, right? With Rocky and all those guys. Now, Open Thunder to me was really interesting because Open Thunder, I remember hearing Open Thunder the very first time when it came out and I was like, the fuck? Like, this beat is crazy. Like, I've never heard a beat like this. Again, like, we talk about people doing unique shit, right? I was there, like.
Riding on the freeway, man. Passing Emeryville, going through Oakland. Shouts out to Richmond, San Francisco.
Let's go. Lil B. One day to live. Cause we living in the moment. And that's in the present. The gift is my performance. Live for the future. Cause I live in the computer. I can tell you things that I've seen. A lot of guns in the streets. Shattered dreams. I mean, it's some real spit, man. And I think this is what I'm saying about Lil B. When I heard that, I was like, this is unique. And I looked it up and I was like, Slow Dive? Who the fuck are Slow Dive? I mean, to me, this is like, again, great rappers do this. They make great songs. They make unique material. Their songs speak for themselves. Their beats speak for themselves. And, I think it's interesting, actually, because I've never heard of a single hip-hop artist sampling Slow Dive ever. You know what I'm saying? Like, at least not publicly, anyway. And I think Lil B was definitely the first to ever do it. There's only one other record, actually, funny enough, that has a Slow Dive sample, and it came out after Lil B. And you want to know what that is? It's actually my favorite Chinx record. It's kind of the only record by Chinx I ever play from time to time. And speaking of French Montana, they probably looked at it and were like, yo, this Lil B nigga's on some other shit, right? This is Lil B shit, basically. This is Dust. Beautiful song. Told you the OD, nigga. This is Lil B's influence going all over the place. Come to me and go get the money. Get the money. So yeah, man, I think that Lil B has done a lot. There's so much I can cover about Lil B. He has a ton of material, a lot of funny songs. So I guess I kind of will, in the description, click it and you'll see. I'll kind of organize it. Songs that I think are still kind of funny and hilarious and stuff that he was doing. And then, of course, sort of the more deeper cuts where it's like just him pouring out his heart that were also pretty dope. He has a lot of shit, man. I mean, Lil B was doing that Memphis trap shit before a lot of people, man. Like, I mean, The Hood Played Out, which is one of my favorite Lil B records, Let me play that, because I have to play that, actually. Why did they hate me? Hood Played Out, man. This shit is, and it's real, the hood is played out, respectfully. This shit is like, why do they hate me? I'm gonna go fuck this bitch. Indie pimp. I'm on that gangster shit. Fuck everything, I'm a bitch. This shit was hard. I mean, again, rap has moved into that whole Memphis thing. Lil B was on that before a lot of these niggas, man. So I gotta give credit where it's due, man. I mean, I'm gonna wrap this up because I've been talking about Lil B for a minute, but I'm telling you, man, Lil B in his day was really coming out with some hot shit. So flowers to this guy. I kind of wish that he stopped trolling after a certain point and just kind of, you know, he had all these interesting sounds and just made like, I would say, real songs overall, like that have really strong replay value. I kind of wish he did, because a lot of this stuff does kind of have replay value, but it's, again, it's very much like if you are in the mood to hear some funny shit or just to go into Lil B's world, but it's not necessarily like songs I can just kind of play. You know, and I think this is where A$AP Rocky obviously improved on Lil B, because, you know, you hear Peso, you hear Bass, or even What's Up, all that shit that he was doing that was like Clamps Casino, that was like Lil B shit. You can still listen to those records. Those are still songs, right? They stand on their own. You don't have to know anything about A$AP Rocky to like those songs. But with Lil B, you need to be already plugged into his world in a sense, to really enjoy his music, and I think that's a drawback on Lil B's part. But great artist, man. He really came out with some shit, and much love and respect to the dude. He did what, you know, you're supposed to do. You know, at least do something unique and raw and passionate, even if it's not, you know, the most fully formed, but still, at least, you know, give people like some realness, man, because the rap game has been very fake for a very fucking long time. I'm out.